Coach, let's talk about getting ready for another season. Expectations for this year.
Yeah, we're excited. I think we're ready to get back on the field. This is always just a season, a week, a month, just full of anticipation. And, it's about the time that we're just tired of facing each other at practice, seeing our own pitchers, our own hitters against everyone. And especially, I think, just the added excitement of a big opening weekend for us. And, we know we're going into an immediate challenge, and that's by design for this team. I think we have a lot of good returning pieces, as well as a lot of unknown. And I think you're going to see, kind of known for mixing up my lineups and, trying different matchups, and we're going to see a lot of that as well. I've got, a lot of good freshmen, the transfers that we have in as well, and just, seeing who's going to step up and take some of those holes that we have to fill. And, I don't think you replace Afale Lua, the type of production she's had for us the last 3 years, or even Carter Spexarth and what she was able to do for our lineup. But our goal for this year, we know we might not be as much of a home run threat, maybe not putting up the same numbers that we did previously the last 2 years, but I think we're going to see as a more balanced offensive approach. I think top to bottom, we've got the hitters in place that we can really be a little bit more balanced throughout the lineup, a little bit more speed, a little more athleticism, continuing to use a pitching staff approach and trying to work matchups in and set people up for success in the bullpen. And then an improved defense, and that's really kind of been the goal overall through the offseason, is just being more balanced overall through the 3 phases, through our defense, offense, and our pitching, and really worked hard on that. Coach Bratton took the lead on that this offseason, and I think just bringing in more competition has really helped. I went from 5 infielders last season really to work with, and now I've got 14. So a lot more competition at practice, a lot of people pushing each other, and we're excited to see what they can do once we get out between the lines.
Mia, it seems like she's been here for a decade, and I mean.
Well, then you got Montana.
You saw her in recruiting as an assistant. You've seen her whole development as a head coach. Mm-hmm. What she meant to this program the last 4 or 5 years? Just to, not just the numbers, but just like Joel mentioned, her almost like an added assistant coach out there.
She really is. Mia's going to be so tough to replace, and not even just the production on the field. She's so much more than the numbers and the records and the awards that she's received. And she really is, at this point, an extension of our coaching staff and of myself. And she knows what the expectations are. She'll call the team in the middle of practice. She'll stop a drill and call them in before I do. She knows it's coming at this point, and she's able to take charge and be that leader on the field and kind of get the team refocused before I have to step in and do it. And that's something you're always hoping for as a coach. And, she's really stepped up, I think, on-field leadership with her voice. She's always led by example in her work ethic. And, you want your best player to be one of the hardest workers out there, and that's always been Mia. And then really from the coaching side, a lot of times they talk about the great players don't make great coaches. And Mia is not that player. She's going to make an excellent coach one day just because of her attention to detail, how much she cares about people around her. I think that's really important to her as well. And she's one that I can trust. If I'm in a cage with the hitter, if DJ's in a cage with another hitter, Mia can be in the third cage with the freshman, and really talking them through the exact same process that we're working on. She gets it. She knows the expectations. She knows how to make adjustments. She knows what it's like to be in those situations. And so just really, I think, a lot of trust both ways between our coaching staff and Mia.
You mentioned her wanting to be a coach. Do you want her to be a coach here, or are you kind of tired of her right now?
Oh, no. We'll keep her as long as we can. And, with that, there's a couple of things, that we have to kind of get in place. But she has 1 more year to finish her master's. She's working on her master's right now. And so we're hoping we're able to keep her around and let her finish her master's here. But that's to be decided.
Jess was talking about how when she was in high school, she was in 10th grade, and Mia still kind of took her under her wing and helped her out a bit. Do you kind of see that from Mia coming in from high school, that she had the chance to be a true leader just based off her high school experience?
Yeah, I think a lot of that, you typically see it with catchers a lot too. I think it's definitely a natural leadership position for them, and she's always had that ability, even when it didn't matter if she was a younger player, because she's always played up. I think when she committed here, she was in the 7th grade, and she's been a Bulldog longer than I have. She understands the work ethic it took her to get there. She's always played up. She's not afraid to speak up or to call out somebody older than her. And now she finally is in that older upperclassman leadership position. I think it's all just kind of come full circle. But yeah, I think she did that well from a young age. She stepped in, wasn't afraid to speak up, to use her voice, to lead by example, and just knowing, I think she's in touch with her abilities and she understands how good she is, and that comes a responsibility to the team and the people around her.
I know y'all have had kind of a whole staff approach in the circle, and I mean, Alyssa is going to be a big loss, I guess, but still there helping out the team. What's your thoughts on this pitching staff this year coming into the season?
Yeah, we definitely have some big holes to fill, some innings that we're going to have to fill. It's nice to have Annie Willis back for her 5th year. She's a huge piece, and really the goal is that she doesn't have to throw the bulk of the innings like she did there down the stretch for us. I think she definitely faded towards the end because of the volume that she was throwing for us and having to throw in the midweeks because they're just as important as the SEC series we had on the weekends. So the goal is to take some of the stress off of Annie, and I think Aspen is the number one piece to that, and she's ready. I think she's earned it, she's worked for it, and she's shown it to us really since the end of last season. I think her and Annie are kind of 1A, 1B, and it could be either one of them getting the ball on any day. And we like to mix and match, so they might not get the ball initially, but they're going to get the ball late in the game when we need it the most. We're not afraid to use an opener. I think we used Alyssa Loza that way a lot, especially 2 years ago, where she'd go one time through the lineup, and then you could bring in Annie, or you could bring in Aspen, and now they're throwing against a team late in the game, and they're only on their 2nd time seeing them instead of 3rd or 4th. So definitely going to continue to mix and match. Looking for some reliever innings from Grace Fagan, our lefty, as well as Mata Lassi, our transfer. But Mata is one I think that's going to be in the lineup full time as a offensive threat for us. Probably seeing some reliever innings for us in the circle. I think Bree Bauer has a big future for us, a freshman, but this year probably more innings again midweek, trying to get her used to the speed to this level, and take some of the stress off the others. But she'll get her opportunities out there, trying to get her used to this. And then the big one that I think we're expecting to see a lot from is Kenley Hawk. And she's one that hasn't really seen a lot of innings or great numbers for us so far, but that junior class, Kenley Hawk, Aspen Wesley, Madison Kennedy, Paige Cook, Briley St. Clair, Aquana Brownlee, it's really our core group are now all juniors, and they really have taken just a huge step forward in their maturity, and I think they're hungry and they're ready for it. And Kenley is definitely one of those. She's really kind of worked her way into a 3 spot this fall, and she's gonna provide a very different look from Aspen, from Annie. She throws hard, she throws down, and I think that she's one that we're hoping, once we get her out there, she can continue what she's shown us this offseason and take on a bulk of the innings as well.
You mentioned some of the holes in the lineup. It sounds like Montel will play full time, but who do you envision taking over like first base, DH, like Shea Moreno or some other veteran players?
To be decided there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see, especially first base, rotating through a little bit. Right now I've got, I think, 7 first basemen that are practicing over there, which is a lot. You'll definitely see Mia over there, which we haven't seen a whole lot, I think, when she's not catching. Probably a platoon of Mia Davidson, of Jackie McKenna, kind of rotate back and forth when Mia's taking a break, get Jackie behind the plate. Montana's also been working in at first. So I think the rest of it's going to be more of an offensive battle for first base between Montana, Addison Purvis, and Riley Hall, our freshman. Addison and Riley provide a lefty bat, which we're still pretty righty dominant. So I think those are bats that we're going to really try to get in the lineup for us as well. So I think it could really be any of that core group over at first base. I envision Shea Moreno getting a lot of time at 3rd, possibly 2nd. Her and Paige Cook have kind of flip-flop back and forth, but I think she's kind of shown that she can be in there as an everyday type starter in the infield. But there definitely is still a battle. I mean, she's got to beat out Paige at 3rd as well as Montana. And then Paige, I think, is the one who's kind of solidified herself into that role. Just now, I think, 3rd season playing second base, she's really figured it out and just taken, leaps and bounds forward from where she was 2 years ago. She's now a leader in the infield. She knows what's going on. She's speaking up, just doing everything that we've asked of all of them to do. So I'm excited for Paige as well. I think she's another one that could have a big year for us in the infield.
And the outfield is AK Seagraves back this year, and how's she doing?
She's getting better. I think we're still kind of to be decided there. It's just kind of been a lot of ongoing health issues there with AK. So really, number one, making sure that we get her back and healthy. So I wouldn't anticipate seeing her early on, but that's, again, something we're going to wait with the doctors. I think definitely we know Chloe's going to be out there, Chloe Malulu, playing all 3 positions like she did for us last year. I think Briley St. Clair, another junior who's really kind of hungry, another lefty bat that's primed to get in there is going to have to hit her way in, but you definitely see her early on. She's one of probably our strongest defensive outfielder, and her and Chloe out there together is really great together. Jackie McKenna will be in there. You'll probably see Jackie playing catcher first and outfield the first weekend, and that's just what she does well. And then I would anticipate a lot of freshmen. Selena Daniel, she goes by the nickname Silk, and you'll know why when you watch her run. And the kid just unbelievable athleticism and talent, and has everything she needs to be successful at this level. It's just a matter of, I think, adjusting to the speed and the intensity a little bit about when she makes that push as a starter. Could be this year, could be next, but she'll be getting some opportunities out there as well.
You talked about Aspen a little bit, and Aquana too. Both of those are Mississippi players, had great careers in the state of Mississippi. Do you see the sport growing in the state in high school, or do you anticipate more SEC athletes coming out of the state? What are your opinions, having been here for a while and recruited this state, and seeing it every year?
Yeah, I think softball is definitely growing within the state of Mississippi, and I think a credit to it growing on the national stage as it becomes more popular, more games on TV. You start to see girls maybe selecting softball over other sports they might choose in high school. So it's an exciting time to play softball at a national level, as well as in the state. And I think from the recruiting side, we're seeing more and more competitive teams pop up, which is really exciting because that's what we're watching. And it only makes the talent better within the state. When the best players, like in Aspen Wesley, aren't traveling out of state to play every summer, when they can play within the state, locally, and really just it makes them better, it makes the competition better around them. So we're excited for that, and I know Aspen and Aquana both really take that seriously, the representation that they provide, not only for the state of Mississippi, but you get to Aspen and just for the Choctaw tribe and everyone in Neshoba. So it is something I think that always is weighing on Aspen's mind, and then having, I think, Coach Bratton and then DJ Sanders, also both local for us, it's something for us that's important that we continue to have people that represent not just the state but the community around us within our staff and our players.